Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I'm Not a Fan Unless I Have a Podcast. I'm John Hanford, and what a fucking week. Um, you know, with the last episode being released, just whatever is going on with my release schedule, we're all hurting. Um, Everybody who is waking up to uh, the fact that racism is such a systemic problem especially in the United States, but all over the world. In Australia, King Gizzard marched yesterday or the day before with uh, um, with their own Black Lives Matter protest. I think it was in Melbourne, maybe it was Sydney, but oh my God, it was yeah. It's nice to see that everybody's in this, and at the same time, I acknowledge it might be exhausting. It is exhausting. You hearing this on this podcast might be annoying, or just like, look, I already get it. We're all in this together. I don't know, but but um, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. We're all pretty like-minded. Gizz is our favorite band. I have a hard time imagining that racists love listening to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, but shit, I've been wrong before about things. Like, um, I laugh because like I really can't picture it, but at the same time, what the fuck kind of reality is this? Um, I was I've been watching I've been like pretty much glued to my phone, which is not healthy. It's not good. But I've been watching Neil Brennan, a comedian. He's a white guy, similar stature as myself, and physical stature, not nowhere close career wise. Like that guy's awesome, um, but I was watching him because he's been doing all these videos. If you're not familiar with Neil Brennan, he was one of the co-creators of Chappelle's show, and he's collaborated with Dave Chappelle, and from my knowledge, okay, maybe I won't because I don't know for a fact, but he's worked with a lot of other black comedians as well. I don't know if he's mostly worked with black comedians or if he's just spent a good amount of time making the dopest shit with with black comedians. But so he has a lot of he's had a lot of exposure, and in a video that he released yesterday, he told a story about the time that he went to Eddie Murphy's house with Dave Chappelle and Charlie Murphy and I think Donnell Rawlings. Eddie Murphy said something to the effect of, it's like they saw something come on the TV. It was a white guy in blackface. They were watching like an old movie or something, and Eddie Murphy's just like, how is this shit on in my house? Like, I'm a multimillionaire. I've won capitalism for a black guy. And yet why the fuck am I seeing myself, people that look just like me regarded as subhuman? And he said it's like living in the Twilight Zone. So considering that for all this time, black people have felt like they've been living in the Twilight Zone, and here I am as a broke liberal white guy, and I'm just like, oh, Trump got elected. It's like the Twilight Zone, 1984, Orwell, man, and it's. I mean, it's just like, yeah, welcome to their reality. Possibly. I don't know if Eddie Murphy's if he I don't know if he can actually speak for an entire race of people, but it seemed pretty fucking likely. It made a lot of sense. And, you know, so as long as we're living in the Twilight Zone, it could very well be that there's a contingent of racist Gizz fans. And fuck you if that's the case. But, I imagine that's a very, very small number of people. So anyway, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and just ask what you can do to get better, to be better, and it's yeah, this is a hard time, and we're getting through this. We're alive. If you're listening to this podcast, it means you're alive, and it's so great that you are. Um, I can't say exactly why it is great to be alive right now. But it's at the end of the day, that's all you got. All you got is your life. So just be happy about it. All right. This podcast episode is a pretty fun one. We're all over the place, so I'm glad we got the race segment out of the way. We've got we've got Avery on this podcast. He's guy from from Sacramento, and it was a lot of fun talking with him. We cover a whole array of topics. And this was a very fun, lighthearted episode that was recorded on May 5th, the day of the first episode of this podcast was released. Holy shit, it's June 7th, and this podcast is a little over a month old now. So, yay, happy! I guess it's not a birthday, but we've made it more than a month. We're still going strong. So, I'm just happy about that. I'm happy that I have this podcast, that I've been able to talk with many of you, and it's good. I'm glad that I'm doing this. So anyway, we've got the theme song for the podcast, and then the actual conversation with Avery. Enjoy. Let's get this thing started. So, Avery, thanks for joining the podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. The second one?
So this one, so today I released the first one, but I've still got about 9 in the tank. So this will be the 10th.
Oh, well, that's
right.
Cool
Yeah.
as well.
So episode number 10 is, I'm pretty sure this is episode 10. It might be 11, but we'll see. Yeah, it's been kind of fun though, just getting just talking with a whole bunch of people in a really short amount of time, and then just seeing like what the what the feedback, what the reaction is.
Yeah, I mean, I dug the first one. I listened to it earlier. It was you guys worked well off
Thanks,
each other.
man. Yeah, it's I mean, that's what I go for anytime really anytime I'm in any sort of conversation. I'm just like, let's just get the small talk out of the way and just dive right in, just because that's what's actually interesting. Yeah, man. So a little bit of your background. What age, sex, location. When did you first get into Gizz?
Yeah, I'm 21. I live in Sacramento. I first discovered Gizz when the band I was in, we played this show, actually a really cool show, on a boat down the Delta River in Sacramento. Uh, and the band that played after us covered the river, and I spent like 2 weeks searching everywhere I could to find this song. And eventually I was smart enough just to ask the band. And yeah, so that was March 2017.
Nice.
Yeah. So right after I guess right after FMB.
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
it Flight Microtonal Banana
Yeah.
or Murder of the Universe that came out in March?
I think it was Murder of the Universe because Flying My Kotono Banana might have been
Yeah,
late
that's what
January
I thought.
because the single came out late
Yeah,
2016,
I'm
I
pretty sure.
believe.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure that was the first one of the five, and then
yeah. Yeah, so that day I went out to my local record store and just bought every record they had, which was Murder of the Universe, um, a black copy of Mind Fuzz, Castleface Pressing, and I want to say that Nonagon, the green black splatter. So I went out and bought those and just sat in my room with my girlfriend and just like played those for
how did
hours.
she take to that?
She loves them as well. I mean, her and I have a very similar music taste. She showed me a lot of stuff. I showed her a lot of stuff, and we both kind of vibe off that. She gets me into the 80s stuff. I show her good 60s psych rock, and
Oh yeah.
it just works.
What kind of
Yeah.
80s stuff have you been listening to?
I mean, she really introduced me into a lot of like Bowie's kind of underground
Mm-hmm.
stuff and Talking Heads, Depeche Mode, kind of the bass stuff. But I was just never really keen on listening to it because I heard, you hear all the popular ones a million times, like. But once you kind of get down into some of that more underground, 80s synthwave or 80s pop, it gets really interesting.
Yeah,
So,
it's weird
um,
because like I also grew up with like those preconceptions of '80s music, just like oh, it's just hair metal and like ultra pop, but like there was actually
yeah,
some really good music that came out then. Um,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
like actually one album that I've been listening to a lot is Iggy Pop's 1986 album, blah blah blah. Um,
Great
yeah,
album.
I mean, like Iggy's also just one of my favorites. Like,
Yeah, that was kind of one that had to grow on me as well. I mean, I always liked 1969
yeah,
from the Stooges. I mean, it's a classic. But as I kind of expanded my musical taste and, kind of knowledge, I came to kind of appreciate him a little more.
yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
he's done a lot of interesting collaborations with other artists as well.
Yeah, I mean, he just did a music video that Mac DeMarco directed
Oh yeah,
that Mac's girlfriend was in as well. Like, just crazy, weird, like, but I mean, musically as well.
yeah.
Some
I
crazy
mean, like a few
collaborations.
years ago, he recorded "Post Pop Depression" with Josh Homme of Queens of
Mm-hmm.
the Stone Age, and yeah,
Yeah.
and like it's nuts because like now I live like maybe a mile or two from the studio where that was recorded in
Oh,
yeah
very
in
cool.
Joshua Tree, but
Very
yeah,
nice.
it's but like that was an album that I just loved, and then he came out with another album, Free, last August that just blew me away.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a King Gizzard podcast.
Yeah. So speaking of that, you were saying you're in Joshua Tree. So do you make it out to any of the Desert Days
No,
shows?
well, like the shows that aren't the Desert Days Festival, like they have a few that go on here.
They have,
Yeah,
yeah.
so like I made it out to the one of the benefit shows for Joshua Tree National Park, so I got to see like
Yeah.
the Matson 2, Sugar Candy Mountain, and I'm blanking on the other artists that were playing that day, but oh yeah, All Allah's played.
All
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
and yeah, so I unfortunately I've only been here for a little over a year, so I missed
Oh,
out
okay.
on all the festivals and everything when it gets played. But I know a bunch of
Yeah.
people who went and saw them like both in 2016 and 2018.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so when did you? So I'm assuming you've seen them live at some point.
You'd think, but no.
Oh, what?
There has just been. I know.
You're the first
So
one.
there's really.
Yeah.
I was scared that was gonna
Oh
happen.
well, it was bound to happen
No.
at some point. Let's rip this Band-Aid off.
All right. So basically, here's the deal. I live in Sacramento, where absolutely no bands come. The closest place is San Francisco, and the problem with San Francisco is stuff sells out instantly. So there's been 3 opportunities for me to see King Gizz there. And the first time I was 17 and broke. The second time they sold out before I found out about tickets. And the third time I was out of town that weekend. So I've just come up short each time, just barely. But I do possibly have Greek Theater Marathon set tickets coming in. So we'll have to see about that.
Nice. I should hope so. That'll be a hell of a first show, huh?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I mean, like that.
But yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, but
Yeah. I mean, God. So you've just been. I guess like you do have YouTube videos and like the live recordings and stuff.
I have the Bandcamp recordings and.
Yeah. So have you? So it's interesting to me because like I heard about Gizz, I guess 6 or 7 months before I saw them, and like that was enough time to sort of go through their albums, but I was like, if I had to wait over a year to see them, like I don't I don't know what that, like how I would process, like I'm short circuiting here. I don't understand. like how are you able to be
so
this
so
is
it's
so
tough for
mind-boggling
sure
to me.
because I'm pretty I don't want to say pretty close with like a lot of people and kind of the music scene here, and all of them went 2 of the times. So yeah, it was kind of a bummer, seeing it on their Snapchat story and whatnot, and yeah, just them going to these crazy venues and seeing them. But it's cool. A friend gave me a poster. I have that on my wall. It's like I was kind of there.
Yeah, I mean posters are. I mean, if nothing else, like they're worth a decent amount. Just because of the limited nature of them. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and like honestly, I get so, but like I've never bought a poster, just because I'm just like I'm like there's no way it's not going to get damaged.
Yeah, that's how I feel with posters at shows. I mean, if they hand them out, cool. I'll try to roll it up and hold on to it, but I don't have high expectations there.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess like yeah, so you I mean that's just crazy that a band would cover The River. Like what show was this that you were playing? Like where was this?
Yeah, so I was in this band. It was actually the first show I ever played with them. It was their second ever show. And the singer's older brother, it was his 21st birthday, so he rented out this little boat that goes up and down the river, and we had about 35, 40 people on there. And they had one big, like 15-inch PA sub that we put all of our instruments into. Sounded real crappy, but it was real good. Yeah, so we were just going up and down the Delta River in Sacramento on this little like tour boat thing. It was kind of cool. It was like indoors, like kind of downstairs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we played, and then one other band played, and then yeah, my singer's brother, his band played. And yeah, they ended the night with covering the river like in its entirety.
Yeah,
and it blew my mind.
So this is on a boat on a river, and they're covering the river.
Yeah, it was a wild experience.
Yeah, wow, that's just a lot of perfect layers to that.
I know there's videos of my band playing there. I'll see if I can find some of the cover of the river, but I'll send them your way so you can kind of get the idea.
Yeah,
kind of get a picture in your head.
Please do, because like, I mean, that's not an easy song to cover. Like it's not that the guitar is so hard. It's just like there's
it's long.
Yeah, it's long, and there's just so many parts to remember. And like if you're doing mostly originals, it's like those are hard enough to learn. Just between a band.
Yeah, they were doing all originals and then the river. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's that's fucking badass. And yeah, man. So like what expectations would you have for going to a Gizz show?
I mean, you know, I've heard the stories, I've seen the posts about it and the videos. Like, I know it can be like a very welcoming place. Everyone seems very chill, but also, you know, it's a Gizz show. It's going to be heavy. People mosh, which I'm used to. I mean, I go to plenty of punk shows and whatnot.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, totally. So I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to one day go. I want to see Jason's visuals real bad. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a fun time where everyone's kind of just, you know, chilling together.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when there's animosity at shows or whatnot.
Okay. Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned animosity at shows. Like the last time I saw Gizz, it was at the Central Park show in New York last summer, and I took a tab of acid just because, you know, it's Gizz, and I went with my friend and her boyfriend, which was fine. Like that's not the issue. We were just sitting like in the bleachers, and right behind me was just like this loudmouth caricature New Jersey resident, just bitching the entire time, like
Lovely.
just like, oh, are they playing the new stuff? What's going on here? And it was the fucking worst. And like I was just, and like I'm tripping, and like I'm trying to get into it, and this guy's just begging, in my opinion, to, you know, go into cardiac arrest. But so I just had to get the hell out of there, and then like I finally made it down into the pit. But there were maybe 3 songs left of the show, and I was just like, I totally squandered this opportunity. Just because
it's all right, man. I did that at Bad Religion last time I saw them.
Yeah.
Wist out. Last song. All right.
It was so I actually know nothing about Bad Religion other than that, like, you know, a lot of people wear their T-shirts when I was in high school. But what's what are they like live?
Bad Religion live was interesting because, well, Bad Religion itself is interesting because, you know, you think of your typical 80s, I don't know if you want to call it skate punk or whatnot band. It's gritty and it's yelling and it's, you know, kind of organized chaos. But Bad Religion, the vocalist, and I'm blanking on his name right now, has a very melodic approach, kind of sings a bit more, still has a bit of a raspy voice, but just over these, you know, driving punk backing tracks, I guess I call it something else. But so it was really interesting. You know, the dudes are pretty old now. It wasn't a great venue sound-wise. I mean, it was just an outdoor festival.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they killed it. They sounded great. They were all like real tight and just, I don't know. I mean, it was almost like blaring a studio album, but with the energy of a crowd. Like it was pretty impressive.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like I haven't listened to them since probably 2002. like when I was in when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, that's about when I was into him too. You know, my dad was real into him, and he kind of introduced me to the whole punk scene. And so yeah, I liked him as a kid. I kind of fell out and got more into a little more hardcore stuff. But yeah, I was at this festival and they were playing, and it was them or AWOL Nation. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go see Bad Religion.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did. That was an awesome experience.
Yeah,
that was the first time I went to a festival by myself too, so that was also an interesting experience.
Nice. Which festival was this?
It's called Aftershock Festival in Sacramento. It's a yearly kind of metal. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends, she's an Instagram model. She went to Aftershock last year.
That's the only one I missed. I was kind of bummed on that one.
Yeah, God, who was headlining? It was some band that I used to be into. I forgot.
System of a Down, was that last year? I think.
Oh, yeah, it could have been. Yeah. God.
I think it was System of a Down and Tool. That's who it was.
Oh, okay, yeah. Holy shit, yeah, that must have been insane. Yeah, System of a Down does a good show too.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so you messaged me earlier that just like, hey, listen to the to the first episode of the podcast. So you're also from Seattle.
I am, yes.
So
Born and raised.
when did you make the move to Sacramento?
2011. I was in 8th grade. My grandparents were sick, and so we came down here to kind of help take care of them. Um, Ended up doing fine, so that's good. But
Nice.
my my parents moved back up recently, but I decided to stay. Um, I like it up there, but I kind of, I moved here at 13. I kind of established my life here, so.
Yeah, I
But
mean that makes sense. I also just can't deal with like the winter and fall back in the
that
Northwest.
too. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I can go up there and visit my parents. It's not a very expensive flight. It's 2 hours long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Still a diehard Mariners fan.
oh, dude,
Always.
yeah, me too. I like, God, I remember this is like the least Gizz episode that I've had thus far, but I'm kind of enjoying it. Like, this is fun. We should, it's good to mix things up. But as
Sure.
far as the Mariners go, yeah, holy shit, they're bad. Like, um,
Yeah.
like I'm a diehard baseball fan, and
Yep.
like before I got really into Gizz, I was really into baseball with like the same tenacity, and and like I worked in the baseball industry for 7 years before quitting to be a hippie, and um and like the Mariners are just one of the it's one of the reasons that I don't really have a lot of hope in general. And I'm just like, yeah, might as well just fuck around. Nothing matters.
Yep.
Like I feel like being a Mariners fan prepared me for the pandemic. Just in that it's just like, yeah, well, it wasn't going to be good anyway, so who cares? And
Yep.
uh, but yeah, I appreciate that I have some solidarity in the Gizz community.
Absolutely. So we'll get this back onto Gizz. I just want to put this out there.
Yeah.
If anyone likes to hear about horrible stories in baseball, Dorktown's 6-part special on the Mariners. Highly recommended.
Ooh, where's that? Is that streaming somewhere? Or?
On YouTube, the channel SB Nation. It has a series called Dorktown. They break down crazy stats and stories. It's very beautifully done. They're doing part 6 for the Mariners one comes out on Thursday, and it's just been a roller coaster of emotions for me. It's very, very well done.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get back into Gizz.
Get back to Gizz. Yep.
So
sorry, I've never done this before.
Listen, it's different every time. I mean, like it's you just got to go with whatever comes to mind. Otherwise, it sounds incredibly awkward. And like you'll see, there are a few episodes where like maybe the conversation doesn't carry that well, but it's just like whatever. We're putting that out there. It's still part of the Gizzverse. We're all fans.
Sure.
The whole point of this is that it's not a professional thing. This is fans, and this is just what makes us like tick. But yeah, so what I was going to ask you about Gizz, like for when when at some point you do get to see them live, what is a song that you want them to play that you have not seen or heard played live?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because that's something that I think about a ton, and I don't know if that's what other people think about as well.
No, definitely. I've definitely made up like mock set lists before. I don't have them on hand, but one that I've only seen short clips of from like cell phone recordings is Tezita, and Sketches being my favorite album. I think that would be great, especially with Alex from Mild High Club or their whole band would be awesome. But besides from that, something I haven't seen them do live. That's a tough one. Yeah, because with the Chunky promos, they did Beginner's Luck, and that was one of my favorites. Man, I mean, is there anything they haven't played live?
Oh yeah, I mean, like most of Sketches.
Yeah, well,
yeah. And most paper mache. Yeah, I guess. Oh, they haven't played Tetrachromacy.
That is true. I haven't seen that. Yeah. That would be awesome.
And that's I would love to see them do tetrachromacy, searching, and into the fourth color. Like, actually, if they could just play the entire B-side of Polygon Bonaland, that would be sick.
That would be sick. Yeah.
Because, usually if they're playing the fourth color, they're just going straight from Cumberland Castle.
Though, I do have a soft spot for that transition. It is beautiful.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it was mind-bending, the first time I saw that live. Like, it was just totally nuts.
Okay, you know what? I will say this. So I do remember a long, long time ago, I think it was on the Facebook group. It was one of the Just Spoke to Stu posts, a classic. And someone was talking to Stu and Joey, and they wanted them to play Slow Jam 1 or 2. I forget which one. And they looked at each other and laughed. So I think Slow Jam 1 into Slow Jam 2, or even that last, B-side of Mind Fuzz that'd be it for me. That would do it.
Yeah. Oh, no, one off of Mind Fuzz that I would love to see is Empty.
Yes, that too.
Like, I think that is such an underrated track.
That's actually
it gets sandwiched.
Oh, continue.
Yeah, and it just gets sandwiched like between like the Mind Fuzz Suite and Hot Water. Even though like it all does bleed into each other, it's like that's very much not a part, it seems. Because like I'm in Your Mind Fuzz just sort of wraps up that whole suite, and then Empty begins. But yeah, that's one that I really like. I'm really hoping they play at at least one of the marathon shows.
Definitely.
I was about to say Mariners shows. I was just like, wait, no, that's not an enjoyable experience.
Well, if they played Safeco, it could be.
Yeah. Oh man, God, that would be insane if they did. I don't know. Gizz doing a stadium though might just be a little too
much.
I think it might be a little too big. I think you need to have like it needs to be a little smaller.
Yeah.
Like I think max they should be playing to like 10,000 people.
Yeah, like what was it? The London show? That venue was crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to see a show there, even though it was like it was insanely huge. It was just like I didn't see a balcony or anywhere for me to because like I don't want to fuck with that pit. Brits go hard.
Yep.
And I'm and like I'm 120 pounds. It's just like I'm not meant to mosh.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about?
We were talking about
Empty. That's part of my morning alarm clock routine. Terrible at getting up in the morning, so it goes from soft Gizz to hard. So it starts with that bass line from Empty. I end up shutting that off. Then it'll maybe go to beginning of Mind Fuzz. If I sleep through that one, then it starts going into Balrog. And then eventually we just get to Venusian 2. And if I'm not up by Venusian 2, my girlfriend gets upset. So.
Oh my God.
So every morning I go through that.
Wait, so how are you? So you've programmed, what kind of alarm clock are you using that you're programming Gizz songs to be the...
Just on my phone, I just have the songs downloaded. And I've set them as the alarm tones.
Oh shit, I've never even thought to do anything like that. That's fucking great.
I don't know if you can do it on iPhone, but I do it on my Android, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yep. I don't know. So like I just turned 30 and it's weird cuz like I feel myself getting like behind the 8 ball now. Just when it comes to technology, and I'm just like you kids and your TikTok, and now alarm tones. But if it's an Android thing, then that's okay because I have no fucking clue about anything that's on Android.
Yeah, I mean it's the same for me, man. Like I've been out of high school for 4 years now, but I still feel like it was yesterday. But then I look at these high school kids and all their trends, and it's like, hey, whippersnappers, what are you doing?
Gotta love it.
Yep.
Yeah, life's a trip. Enjoy your 20s.
I am so far.
Yeah, so nice. Well, you got a ways to go.
Yep.
But yeah, man. So what have you been? So, do you still play in that band that you were playing with on the riverboat?
No. So they moved to LA, not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. We played a Christmas show and they left shortly after. They recently came back, but the singer kind of went into more of a kind of synthy poppy direction. It's kind of more of a solo project. Doesn't really need a full
Yeah.
band. So, not playing with them, still hang out with them all the time. The drummer of that band though has his own project that I play bass for now. So
nice.
yeah, we did maybe 2 practices and then coronavirus hit. So that's on hold.
Yeah.
Mostly
Yeah.
just been doing my own stuff. After, God, how long have I been playing guitar? 15 years of playing instruments. I decided I should probably record my own music that I've been writing for years. So
Oh, fuck
starting
yeah.
to go with that. Kind of like a garage surf kind of sound.
I
Kind of
dig
like
it.
trying to go like a Dead Ghost kind of direction. If you've ever listened to them.
I haven't. I'm writing it down though, since one of the best parts of doing this podcast is like getting all these other artists like into my lexicon to look up later.
Definitely. Yeah, Dead Ghosts.
Yeah.
Besides King Gizzard, I mean, definitely my favorite band, as far as at least garage surf goes. Just great consistency. They just dropped an album about a week ago, and it's stellar. Yeah,
Nice.
highly recommended.
What's that album called?
Automatic Changer.
Sick. Yeah. Like we've got a lot of I do like how that garage surf is coming back. Into like becoming popular.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like before I saw King Gizzard, I think the best show I'd ever seen was Dick Dale.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, like he was set in his late 70s and had ass cancer, and he was still putting on like the best show. Like I saw him 2 years in a row in New York, and it was just it was just nuts seeing that
Totally.
guy play. Like he, because like he made a whole show out of it too. Like he would just like stop playing for a little bit and then just like tell these stories about how like he and Leo Fender discovered like how to get this like poppy reverb sound out of the amp, and it's just like
iconic Spring.
Yeah.
Man, that's killer.
Yeah, I was really I was really bummed when he died last year, but yep, ass cancer's a bitch.
Yep.
But
that'll do it.
But yeah, like we've got like out here in Joshua Tree, there's a sort of garage surf band, the Blank Tapes. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all. But
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they're I think they're still pretty local, but they sounded really good when I saw them a few times. But yeah, so you're primarily a guitarist?
Yeah, so I started with guitar until I met that other band, Rose Mother. That was the band's name. And yeah, I saw them at a show, and they were a 3-piece with no bassist, and I was like, hey, if you guys want a bassist, I'm trying to join a band. They were like, you play? I said, no, but I got a bass, and I could figure it out. And went to their house the next day and practiced, and picked it up pretty quick. I enjoy it. So yeah, I got pretty into bass, so I can do that as well. Trying to learn drums. But yeah, definitely primarily guitar.
Yeah. Get like I've been playing guitar since I was 8, and it's and I'm sort of in the same boat as you, except 9 years later. And yeah, so like I just decided to record songs that I had written like for the first time like a month or so ago. And yeah, it was really cool just like put something out there, especially like when I hadn't really done, like I'd just been playing for fun. I wasn't actually really making anything. And I was like, wait, I should just do this while I'm in quarantine. Like
that was kind of my thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been fun.
Yeah, man. Let's see. I think we'll wrap this up pretty soon here. But before I let you go, what is one thing that you're looking forward to about something King Gizzard related?
So
Or is there anything that's been on your mind about
yeah,
them?
so I know they kind of talked about some stuff in the AMA, but I remember, I think it was on Reddit, another phone recording from a show. They played this crazy like instrumental ska sounding track for like 2 minutes. And it went all around all the groups and everything, and everyone was kind of losing their mind. They're like, "Oh my god, this is kind of sick." It was like almost like ska punk or reggae-ish track. And it was brought up in the AMA, and Stu was like, "Oh, I forgot about that one. Like, that's tight." So yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while, kind of like a good upbeat, upstrum, see what they can do with it kind of project.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be nuts. Like I haven't even considered Giz going into like ska or anything that's in that vein of like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
It wasn't quite like that, but it was definitely like upbeat upstrums and kind of a more. I could be remembering it totally wrong. It's been a couple years, but yeah, no, I just remember this one track that I'd be really excited for, either that or just another collaboration with another artist like Mild High Club, or just another album with another artist. I think would be really cool.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to, like, with the marathon shows, I was really looking forward to seeing Leah Senior.
Yeah.
Because she has, I don't know if you've listened to her solo stuff, but oh my God, she's such a great songwriter.
Underappreciated flightless artist for sure. Makes me sad.
Yeah. It's what's great though is like I'm really not sad because like I know it's just a matter of time. Like once she actually tours with them and opens, like it's gonna be nuts. And I think she'll get a ton of followers and everything. Like Amel and the Sniffers, when they went on tour with Gizz in 2018, like they all of a sudden
they kind of blew up. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Same with Orb. Orb really took off from that. From what was it, last year's US tour or 2 years ago?
I mean, they did tour with them last year. I think they've toured with them before. And Stonefield has been going pretty strong for a while. And what's funny about Stonefield? And like I said, I know I said I was going to wrap this up, but fuck it.
Yeah, I got nothing but time.
What's funny with Stonefield is I've been listening to Gizz for a year at that point, and one of my friends, he plays in the Meat Puppets.
Oh wow!
And that's a wild story that I think I'll get to in either the second or third episode of this podcast. So listen for that. But yeah, so I became friends with them in 2013, and I was out for a hike with Elmo. He's Kurt Kirkwood's son, and so this is November 2018, and we're like I was showing him Gizz playing Nonagon Infinity, and he was just like, yeah, I dig this, and then I was just like, yeah, they're from Australia, he was like, oh yeah, they're Australian, you probably like Stonefield. Because apparently when they played Australia back in like 2014 or 2015, Stonefield toured with them and opened.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It's so fucking wild. Like, one of my, like, a band that I'm first of all, a band that's like fucking legendary, and I still can't believe that they know me on a first name basis. It's just wild to like hear from them, Stonefield. Yeah. When like somehow I never picked up on that Cavs and Amy were dating. Yep. It's absolutely wild, man. Avery, it's been a great time talking with you. I love like just how all over the place we got here.
Sorry about that, but no, I dug it too.
Oh,
that was cool.
Fuck no, dude. Like if I had to write a flow chart, just mock up a flow chart of how this episode went, it would just be a Nonagon Infinity. So yeah, man, I really appreciate the time, and this has been a fun, interesting episode, and like it seems like we've all got a lot of researching other artists.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah, I'd be happy to come back anytime. This was awesome. It's fun. I'll plan better next time.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's we're allowed these weird episodes and everything. This is all a hang, and we're all getting through this together. Quarantine is a bitch, and if there's anything that can like make us feel like we're part of something bigger, then you
Yeah,
gotta
definitely.
do it. So all right, thanks
Yeah,
for the
of
time,
course.
man.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
it easy.